Hey guys, and welcome to Game Over's discussion of Game of Thrones Series 6, Episode 9, Battle of the Bastards. Let's sound off first.
I'm Max.
I'm Matt.
I'm Dan.
I'm also Dan.
Okay, the whole series has been gearing up to this battle.
For no reason.
No. But let's start with the randomly inserted bit from the other side of the Game of Thrones world. The Marine Daenerys kind of stuff.
So we got the masters of everywhere else. They're like, we're not happy about this. I was watching this with a girlfriend yesterday, and she said, why does nobody remember that Daenerys has dragons? She has the Unsullied. Why are you fucking with her? It's not like she just magically took the city. People have seen Drogon. People have even seen Rhaegal and Viserion. And then there's a bit where the masters will be like, you will give the Unsullied back. To who? Or to whom?
How are you going to make them?
You'll give them a Unsullied back. And then he goes, and we will slaughter the dragons. No, you won't. I dare you.
Do you know what would be great is if Tyrion went, I'm sorry, we lost the receipt. Something like that.
What I noticed about this episode as a whole was the direction of it. And the cinematography, like that scene when you got Tyrion, Greyworm, Daenerys, Master Bloke 1, 2 and 3, it looked very nice.
It was a step up.
It's something we've been missing this series. Miguel Sapochnik, who directed this episode, will be directing the next one.
Oh, good.
And he directed Hard Home.
Yeah.
Did he? Yeah. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Just keep him doing it.
So this is their guy for like
He's obviously good at
big scenes. Yeah. In fact, and then Daenerys is like Drogon, and he was massive. This is the dragon we've been waiting for.
Yes.
And then Rhaegal and Viserion are like, we're out of here too. And then they're smaller, and that's in a way kind of sad because they should be the same size as Drogon. They're just not.
To be fair, I was watching it with my girlfriend, and she said, oh, maybe they're just doing it to go, look what we can do and keep the rest of the ships, but that wasn't made.
I mean, dragons are a show of force in and of themselves.
She does say that she claims a lot of the ships, though. When
So it's probably a practical reason whether they haven't.
True.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to see the moment that Theon turned up. Like, they were just suddenly...
Yeah.
Magically Theon.
Do you know what would have been...
And that was so fast.
Did they turn up?
Yeah.
They just...
How did they not mistake the ship?
I was like,
just, what?
oh, yeah.
Shit, that happened, then.
I was expecting a naval battle actually between Theon and...
Do you
Do you know what would have been good as
that would have
well?
been cool.
If
Yeah.
that foreshadowed what happened later on in the episode with the Knights of the Vale, if they turned in to break that siege as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn it, why don't we just...
Every week, literally every week on the spot, we come up with stuff that's better. Come on.
But what we've got with Theon and Yara turning up to the pyramid somehow, I don't know how they were allowed in. This show's got this thing of like people taking ages to get somewhere or getting there immediately. Like Baelish teleporting, Yara and Theon teleporting. They're suddenly in Volantis a couple of episodes ago. Bear in mind that Brienne wasn't at the Battle of the Bastards. Probably should have
Yeah,
been.
well, that's a good point.
She was like, I'm
That is
going
a very
to.
good point.
It took her like 2 episodes to get to the Riverlands. Meanwhile, Theon, in terms of the distance, like the Ironborn got there in no time at all.
Got a great canal system. This is something that's really been bothering me this series, is they've gone, oh, remember, Euron's chasing us. Well, we fucking not. We haven't seen anything of it.
Yeah,
He's bigged up to be like this badass nutcase who wants to give Khaleesi a fat cock. And we've literally seen nothing of him.
Yeah. And he's still got other ships.
He's drowned and coughed
He's got-
and spluttered a bit.
I want to see his
That's it.
ship. I wanted to see like the silence.
Basically, if he's only got one ship and he sees the Iron Fleet moored somewhere, send like a fire ship, just do some kind of sabotage. That'd have been so cool, and we'd have seen that he's a nutter from that.
As you said, it would have been great if the Ironborn turn up and help combat the Masters of Marine, sort of
Which is what I was expecting,
unexpectedly, because then that would also give them like more like credence to talk to Daenerys, because if she's like, who are they? Bring them inside.
Which is exactly what I put in the review.
What I want to talk about with this bit, while we're not talking about the big battle that everybody wants us to talk about, this episode, you got the Yara Daenerys bants, and
I enjoyed that.
It was
good.
good, and you can tell that like Daenerys gets it, you know, and Yara equally gets it. Like, our fathers were evil men. This is bad. Let's leave the world a better place than they left it. Which sounds good on paper, but we all know that isn't Daenerys' plan.
Well, it's not
She
that, it's just-
specifically said last episode, like, I'm a conqueror. I'm just gonna kill fucking everyone.
But this is what happens when you get different writers every week.
And I know we've talked before about the various female roles coming to power. Obviously, Sansa has taken a much more dominant. And one of the positive things about this, the sort of latter half of the season, has been that her role, her character, actually come along quite quickly, which it needed to do, and it was good. Obviously, now we're finally seeing Daenerys and Yara do that. But there's an element to that kind of coming to play, which is maybe she'll find kind of more common allies than she thought in Westeros.
I mean,
Season 6 seems to be suggesting the women are probably just generally better equipped to rule Westeros and the world generally.
There's a theme emerging, definitely.
I mean, we have a war of the 5 queens going on. I mean, we have Yara, Daenerys, Cersei, Marjorie, Sansa. Sansa, like, she went fucking Claire Underwood this episode. She was like Reckon's dad, like, sort of
really
stroke
cool.
of ruthless pragmatism we've not seen in her
which we
before.
saw the Blackfish do in the last episode. Go ahead, Edmund is fucked. But if I may go back to fire, when she was saying to Tyrion, I'm going to burn all their cities to the ground, and Tyrion comes out with basically, we now know that more people know precisely what the Mad King was all about.
Yep.
He definitely knows about all the wildfires. We know he knew it existed, but we didn't know that Jamie told anyone else about the extent of the problem. So we do get a bit of foreshadowing there.
I mean, literally 3 episodes in a row, we've had somebody mentioning that King's Landing is going to get burnt down. So
Well, this is it.
It's literally got to happen, even if it's just the Sept of Baelor.
It just sounds like such a stoner conspiracy that you can imagine people in Westeros going like, the whole city, man, it's rigged to burn, man. You know, it really does sound like it. Shall we move on to what we all want to talk about?
Yeah, the Battle of the Bastards.
Come on, then.
Get hype!
Overall, the battle actually lived up to the hype a little bit.
Finally.
Like,
It was massive.
Yeah, it was proper massive. Like, maybe not Lord of the Rings massive, but like I've not seen something like that on TV.
You did almost expect Gandalf the White to lead the Knights of the Vale.
The Knights of the Vale moment. I think we were on about this last time.
You
About,
mentioned it in the
like,
last video. Deus Ex Littlefinger.
It just kind of... That's the only thing I didn't like about it, was that when all seemed darkest, oh look!
It was.
I think like,
Things that happens in everything.
You
as well.
knew it was gonna
But it shouldn't happen in Game of Thrones.
That's my only gripe with that.
I thoroughly
entire
agree.
battle was
But what
like,
I will say about that is that, I'm going to go history again, in many, many historical situations, that's the only way stuff like that gets resolved.
Yeah.
But I agree.
But I mean, cinematically,
I feel they should have maybe thought of something more inventive for that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, it's HBO, it's Game of Thrones, but it's in the same way that they shouldn't deal, so heavily in just polemics. Ramsay shouldn't really have been such a shit. He should have had a bit more depth of character for that. And it's just an example of just relying on that kind of hook of, we can make him an arch nemesis to everybody. We can make them ride in for no. They can do that because it's TV, but it's not what Game of Thrones ever should have been.
Game of Thrones
I
is,
agree.
if nothing else, subversive of a lot of the tropes. Main characters dying straight off. I don't expect Game of Thrones to sort of resort to
Fantasy tropes.
exactly that, because John was like, we're all fucked, man, and then Vale Knight's like and just
Do you know what I made
and
that?
Littlefinger was in literally one shot, and that shot was going towards Sansa.
Looking really smug.
Yeah.
As well. Instead of hearing the trumpets go
I
off
feel-
to announce
were there
their
trumpets?
arrival.
Yeah,
What would have been so good is if it was just after that shot, John was like, nearly got trampled to death. If he'd have looked up in the sky and seen the falcon that Baelish brought for little Robin. As is, well, suppose that's just like when the eagles come in to save them in the end of the world. But the point is, it still would have looked cool just to see like everyone go, what's that? And the dorks go, I know what that is. That'd have been great. I just want to bring it back to Ramsay. I'm sad he's gone because I really enjoyed him.
Well, we enjoyed
obviously,
hating him.
He's a bastard, but his performance was just great because he was loving every second of it. Just the bits where he's being so evil, his face is just like. He's loving it the whole way, and I really enjoyed him.
Your prediction was right. Eaten by dogs.
Yeah,
that was how it was always going to go down.
Because it was telegraphed by Ruth. In episode was it 2?
Yeah,
It's like,
treated like a mad dog.
you'll be fed to the dogs.
Yeah.
You made 3 predictions last episode, all of which came true. You said that Ramsay's going to get eaten by his dogs. You said that one's going to die.
He the giant.
Last of his kind.
I mean, I'm calling out that is definitely going to happen, or the writing's bad.
And you said,
I bet you anything in the Battle of the Bastards next week, Jon's going to be losing the battle, and then the Vale Knights are going to come in, just like the bloody Rohirrim always do in Lord of the Rings, and randomly end the battle. I'm telling you now, that's what's going to happen. To be fair, that was quite obvious.
it only happened that way because Sansa didn't tell John for some reason that the Knights.
just-
Why didn't she tell him?
It's a surprise.
Why did you get a surprise from your own brother?
And bear in mind,
Commander of the army.
and he thinks he's going to die as well. Because John's like, if I die, don't bring me back. He thinks he's going to die.
If she's just going, I'll keep it secret, he'll love this. I don't know. But he gives her the perfect moment when he's like, we ain't getting any more men. And she's like,
You say that, but I've also just got to go quickly and do a thing.
She's like, I don't know really, because he's trying to sort of be helpful, and she's like, I'm sorry, I thought I could be, I can't. No.
But it's not that he asked her, that she butted in and said, I want to be helpful. That's great. Let's hear it.
Knights of the Vale.
Like with the one.
well, I can't help really. Yeah.
She did. Yeah, she admitted like I don't know. You want to help then?
I mean,
Don't do what he wants you to. Thanks.
He did exactly that. He did exactly that.
Basically, the only thing she said was, he might do something you won't expect. I love the sibling argument when she was like, do you think it's obvious? It is a bit obvious. Like, literally, like, Will from the In-Betweeners.
But then also, like, immediately after, he goes to Melisandre and he's like, have you got any advice? She goes,
Don't lose
lose. Like, oh, now you're a fucking comedian, are you?
I thought it was quite nicely gallows humour, sardonic type thing. Quick thing while we're still on Melisandre. She's so dying next week. I believe that as another.
Oh yeah, because Davos found the stag.
How is that not charged to fuck? Anyway, she has to die, otherwise death means nothing. You can't have everyone being able to be resurrected. They've tried to resurrect 3 people by different means, and they've all succeeded.
How cool would it be if Jon Snow did die, and then Melisandre comes in and revives him, probably gets killed, but then he gets revived in front of everybody, and they're like...
But there was 2 points where that almost happened, wasn't there? There was the 2 points this episode where that almost happened, and you think, oh, actually, maybe it will happen again. They had that build-up there with Melisandre, and there was the bit where the cavalry are coming towards him, and you think, well, actually, maybe this could be a pretty epic kind of...
How that was great was that, because then Jon gets the sword out, and you're like, I don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to cut something
a bit more Aragorn-y, though, because he just did that. You know when Aragorn always has his sword, like, really cool. I just wanted something like that. I don't know why. It just looked better, because he just went like baseball, just like...
And then you got... And Jon was like, shit, what's going on?
Exactly.
And I got PTSD from watching the episode.
They did that a lot, they had this kind of serene moment, broken, like when Jon was like, oh, 1-1, you're like, bam, arrow in the face.
Yeah. Why didn't he shoot Jon?
Really nice. Because Jon has got like some fucking Kevlar plot armour on. There's a hail of arrows. His horse gets shot up the arse with him on him, yet he still doesn't get hit.
Why didn't Mom have a weapon? Was one of the things that got me. It was just like, why didn't he have a weapon? Mom at all?
What? Imagine one with like a sword.
He wasn't holding a sword. I mean, he is a giant.
He is a giant, though.
To be fair, he lasted the whole thing, other than the 1,000 arrows that got stuck into him. But him with a giant, great broadsword would have just been,
or just a tree.
He'd have just
that's
you're building a line of defence.
Or using men to beat other men with. Just
that's actually a great point. He's their MVP, so arm him up. Give him like a massive shield. Like
Don't give him furs. Give him a
ship or something.
Sheet of steel just to wear over himself.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
Should we move on to positives? Because I think it's fair to say, me and you, we love this episode.
Yeah, it was
the bit of the battle when it was kind of on Jon Snow cam, after
the tracking shot was excellent.
It was great.
Yeah.
But he was literally Tom Hanks on Omaha Beach at that point. Nothing was hitting him.
It's true.
It was fantastic.
But when people talk about war scenes, they talk about Saving Private Ryan or maybe Band of Brothers. I would hope that after this, when people talk about war scenes, they also talk about the Battle of the Bastards in the same conversation.
In terms of old style.
It was authentic.
It was claustrophobic. And it was massive, and it was.
Just the nearly 1,000 cast members to be involved in it. On top of the cinematography of it, it was a splendid end to the build-up that we've been going for this whole thing.
I tell you what, this whole week since last episode, I've spent the whole week being like, Tormund's going to die. It's going to be it. Tormund's gone. He's been so good this season.
And then certain he was going to die.
And then he had that great conversation with Davos.
Yeah, I was thinking, oh no, they're getting to know each other. He's going to die. He's going to die. Yeah.
Davos alive, Tormund alive, Jon alive. Everyone we like.
I feel maybe someone should have got maimed at least, because that was a bit Lord of the Ringsy. Like, it's a big battle, everyone else is going to get killed, but the main characters are fine. It was just so gruesome and brutal, and I would imagine a medieval battle looked like that. Just fucking chaos, mud, blood everywhere, people getting cut to bits, no one knows what's going on.
I mean, it was the right level of gritty and grandiose, because it had the literal pile of corpses.
I feel it was a smidge unrealistically big, but it looked great.
So they amassed pretty quickly, but it's Game of Thrones time. You can just they're there. The numbers seemed right as well. Usually when they throw numbers at battle scenes, it's like, I've got 10,000 men, and you just see the entire up to the horizon. Then there's people. And whereas this actually seemed like actually this is a believable amount of you've pretty much got the exact right numbers down or represented them.
What Benioff from Vice did say of this, and I do think it sort of redeems what you were saying a minute ago about how Jon magically survived, because what they said was what they really wanted to capture was the sense of randomness and luck. Like in war, it sort of doesn't matter how good you are, because Jon was an excellent fighter. He killed like 1 billion guys this episode. It doesn't matter how good you are. At the end of the day, it could just be luck and circumstance that saves you. I mean, there's that bit when Jon is like kung kung kung, and then that guy comes in on a horse, and Jon's not looking, and that guy's going to cut Jon down, and then ka-tum.
That's it. You cannot possibly keep an eye on everything. It was just terrifying. It was so big, and I felt like I was there.
Yeah, and you've seen Macbeth, where in the opening fights, it was exactly like that.
Yeah, no, it really was.
And it was just like this constant anonymous suffering, really. Because there are guys with guts and missing legs, and Jon goes to talk to one guy, and then he gets an arrow right through his head. But then Jon kills another guy wearing the same armor. So what we're getting a sense of, like, no one really knows what's going on here, and sort of like, for what? Because Jon and Ramsay have some beef. even they've never met before.
Yeah.
Because it's just like when John's getting trampled, like I'm
That
like,
was so
he could die here.
That was
So well done.
But that's the
and
second
you know
point
the
that he
bit where
might
people
have
were
done.
flashing in front of him
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
It made me uncomfortable.
I don't even know
It was
how you do that.
claustrophobic.
That was-
Well, I think it was probably the most well shot point of this season so far
Yeah.
by a long stretch.
I have
probably
absolutely no complaints about it, and
No.
that's rare for this channel. But the incompetence that happens during the actual battle, when just because John's a bit upset, Davos goes, fucking charge, no!
Like, taking shits back here.
And they do that shot of Tormund going, oh, for fuck's sake, don't do it.
Yeah.
Which I really, really appreciated. And the incompetence was just absolutely
Because
mind-blowing.
Sansa says to John, "Don't fall into his trap."
Yeah,
what does John
yeah,
do?
don't
Exactly
just
that.
that.
Because then I actually called it last week that Ramsay would be like, "There you go, Recon."
Yeah.
Like I
That
said
was
exactly
such a
that. Would
well-made
happen.
And also, while we're on
scene,
it,
though, wasn't it? That was
Rickon,
brilliant.
seriously.
Why didn't he
running
say that?
zigzags? Yes. Running
Everyone I've
fucking
spoken
zigzags,
to
'cause
has
it's
said
just-
that. Just, what are you doing?
I get it was psychological warfare, but just he lives
It works,
around in a
though.
straight line.
But it's straight out of the art of war because he knows John is overly emotional. He knows he's inexperienced. He knows he loves his family, and he's also got a point to prove. So he's luring him out using his honour and his emotions, which is why I know he's a horrible bloke. But I feel sorry for Ramsay losing this battle because he did everything right. He was a damn good commander. He had it planned to a T.
I love the sharpness of the contrast actually, because John and his guys are like, we're
They're
here
a
and
rabble.
we're a ragtag bunch of men, and then when he goes over to we see the Bolton army, they're all like in really straight lines, and they're all like, yep, we're ready.
It's Spartacus all over again, isn't it? It's
And
the
it-
Romans versus.
And it was excellent. And
Oh,
when they
that-
got their shields,
especially when they're doing that chanting, the ooh,
Huh,
thing,
ooh.
you would
Yeah,
shit
yeah, yeah.
your pants.
someone
in the
had to
middle of
decide
that.
on that.
Yeah.
But it was excellent. Like when it pulls out and you see like this semicircle of guys, I did go, fuck yeah, that they're done. And I was like, wait, where are the Knights of the Vale?
There's no way they're getting out of that.
I was so sure, exactly.
Yeah,
that. I was
yeah,
so
yeah.
sure that Small John Umber was going to be like, I tricked you, Ramsay. No,
Well,
he
especially
literally
after
just
that.
was on
Yeah,
his
yeah.
team. And then he gets his throat ripped out by Tormund, which was so cool. The other thing was, the only reason those two were fighting was because of the flow of the battle. You know, men ended up with other men, and it was just like, all right, us now. Rather than just...
That's true.
Because it could have been like John being like, you, Ramsay, we're doing this.
I also liked how
Because Tormund's never met
the
Great John.
Johns did face off at that moment. Shall we move on to the bit in the castle itself?
So John beats down Ramsay, and for those of you who've seen Irreversible or Drive, you know you get the sort of squelchy sound.
Brutal fight.
I always
Bang, bang, yeah.
enjoy that because I'm like, maybe he's crushed his head, and then Sansa looks at him and say, John, what are you doing? No, you can't have it both ways.
I thought she was going to go, I'll do it, or something like that.
Do it.
So yeah, I thought she was just going to turn away and walk away and just let him kill
True.
him.
John,
And so it could have been her that orchestrated the whole dog thing. To be fair, because she knew about them.
yeah, she didn't know they were starving for 7 days, but yeah.
No, she didn't, and that was the plot point of the episode. Because we can all agree this whole season has been eclipsed by lazy script writing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And for an otherwise really good episode, at that one point she had already left the battle way before. Or the
When she does
pre-battle.
her mic
Yeah,
drop,
she does
like,
her.
"You're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
die."
yeah. But she wasn't there. She wasn't there for any of it. And Jon Snow could have told her,
But it's just an uninteresting thing to tell her.
Yeah.
Why would you tell her?
The Starks win. All right, the Starks win.
I-
The Starks
really
are back
nice.
in Winterfell. Like
Yeah.
this has not been the way for like 5 years,
What, 5
basically.
seasons now? Yeah.
And
That was great seeing the banners come down.
The banner
That
comes
was
down,
great.
and there's like no music,
Yeah.
or I don't remember the
They
music.
need to have their Reigns of Castamere equivalent score.
I feel the flag going down should have been the last shot because it's just so like cements the victory
I'll
of
agree with that.
the episode. Instead, the last shot is Sansa walking away, being like, "Yeah."
All she did in this episode is smirk. And also, what a waste of having Baelish in it. Just
You-
one shot being like,
Yeah, thug life. But so Ramsay is in his because I thought John punched him to death. Turns out he didn't. So that's good.
but yeah, but we
'Cause
don't
this
want to
is-
see John descend into all that because he's basically for the moments he's in that war. He's not a human anymore. You're an animal. He's just on his instinct. And they did the same thing to him as they did with Leo in The Revenant. I know we spoke about this a lot.
Yes.
Like, he wasn't pretty Kit Harington. He's covered in shit.
Yeah.
He's murdered loads of people. He's
Bedraggled and-
nearly getting
yeah.
trampled
I mean,
and everything.
in
and
the
he's
tracking-
kicking the shit out of someone.
In track shot, it's
Yeah. Did you hear that guy go, no? Before he goes, no,
Yes.
you're having it anyway. No, I thought he was fantastic in this thing, and they really did a good job of making him not pretty boy anymore.
I wouldn't have wanted Ramsay punched to death. He's in the cell. He says to her,
Yeah.
"You can't kill me. I'm part of you now."
She's definitely.
She's definitely pregnant,
Yeah,
isn't she?
definitely.
But I think what he meant by that feeding me to my dogs is the kind of thing I would do.
Yeah, he would do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I didn't think of that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'd like to think the writing was that good, and I hope it is. But it might just be a sort of villainous last words thing.
It doesn't get bigger than that as far as the episode. He's a major player. He's been cut off really, really, really quickly.
I just thought of such a fucking good way to have killed him in that room. Doesn't get eaten by his hounds. He gets eaten by Ghost. And then they do that intercutting with the banners of the wolf's head coming down.
That would, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Where was Ghost?
Not
That's a good point, actually. I didn't see him all this episode.
He's back at Castle Black?
No,
I guess he must be.
He hasn't.
know.
Yeah, we actually we haven't seen him move. We haven't seen him come down to.
He wouldn't lasted 5 seconds in the battle, so.
Oh no.
No, that's true.
It's very much a Pyrrhic victory. Like, it's the most Pyrrhic victory.
Well,
in the history of
Ramsay's
Pyrrhic
bloke
victories.
said that though. Like we haven't got an army either now. Reckon's death is only intellectually sad. I don't care about Recon.
Well, that's
Yeah, but
that's
you
a fair
don't,
point.
but like John is supposed to.
Yeah, but it's their job as filmmakers to show us
That's
that.
true.
Because he's had no screen time with Recon. Plus, Recon's like, I think he's played by a different actor now. Maybe not.
But
No,
he was
Well,
brought back to die in an emotive
He's
way,
just-
basically. That
Exactly.
Was,
Just had his growth spurt.
And also, John could be like, who's that though? I mean,
They were so far away.
yeah,
Like,
because Ramsay was like, go run now. Like John wouldn't have heard him. I don't care. Like it's only intellectually like, yes, I know that's a bad thing to happen, and that's going to rile John up.
but what's wrong with that? That's just how the plot goes.
I know,
but that's a problem with previous episodes.
I think we
more
should
so than
feel
this
something
episode.
about it as well.
No,
Like, if
I
it were,
agree.
We
say,
should do, yeah.
say he magically captured Aya, just someone that we've spent time with. Because the problem is, it's not even that I don't care about Recon because he's uninteresting. I don't care about Recon because he's not been in the show.
To be
But
honest,
again,
yeah.
this is what I'm talking about. This isn't really a problem with this episode. It's a problem with previous episodes
Yeah.
that we've not seen. And I remember we spoke a lot. Like we're building up to this battle, but we hadn't seen anything of the Boltons before that. We don't know what their kind of machinations are. We don't know what their feelings are. Like you said, we haven't seen any more of Umber
Yeah.
before that. Should we wrap up?
I think we
Cool.
should.
Yeah.
I should.
So, thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you think we're talking rubbish, please do leave it in the comments down below, and we'll see you next week.
So yeah.